Welcome to ISL Enabled Virtual Lab of CSIR.
Hi everyone,
I'm Utsuka.
I am Jigyasa and
And
you are
you're
listening to India Asks Why,
a science podcast supported by India Bioscience.
where we do the research for you to get smarter.
Join us as India becomes more curious,
One question at a time. Do you have a younger sibling or niece whom you find extremely cute? Why do you find them cute? Like everyone else, Utsuka and Jigyasa also find babies cute. In this episode, they ponder upon why we as humans find babies cute. And in the Ask a Scientist segment, Utsuka and Jigyasa get to ask their questions to Dr. Vidita Vaidya, a brain scientist who is interested in the wirings of the brain that is responsible for how we express and feel. They also ask her about how she studies emotions in the lab using rats.
I visited my 2-year-old niece yesterday. She's just so cute and tiny. Her hands, fingers, tiny toes. Cute as a button.
Yeah, babies are so cute. Jigyasa, ever wondered why we find babies cute?
Fascinating question, Utsuka. It seems like many neuroscientists, brain researchers, have wondered about this too. They researched a ton about cuteness. Scientists say that cuteness is how we think of babies. It seems like the answer to your question, Utsuka, lies in the wiring of our brain.
Wait, Jigyasa, I'm confused. Wiring of our brain? What do you mean?
Okay, let me tell you how scientists study cuteness. They show a group of adults images of babies one after the other while also recording their brain activity. The researchers observed a pleasure signal in the brains of the adults whenever they found a baby cute.
Why's that?
It's because thinking that the baby is cute seems to be somehow advantageous for us. So researchers reason that babies seem cute to us because
Wait. Seem cute to us? So we only think that babies are cute?
yes, at least that's what the latest research study says. Cuteness is an emotion we feel when we are attracted to a newborn baby.
Interesting. Keep going.
So, adults thinking of babies to be cute helps these tiny ones live longer.
Wait, cuteness helps babies live longer?
Yeah, when human babies are born, they are very fragile and very dependent on their caregivers, that is the adult. Imagine what would happen if a parent just abandoned their baby after some time of they being born.
Oh, who will look after the small, fragile baby? How would it live?
Exactly. The baby's features or cuteness sort of attracts the caregiver towards them to take care of them. So if a baby feels hungry and needs food, the caregiver gives them the food. Therefore, this helps us as a species survive.
Wait, as a species to survive? There's a lot to unpack. How would you and I taking care of babies help us as a species survive?
Okay, tighten your seatbelt. Here's the explanation coming in. Taking care of our infants increases the chances of it growing to and become an adult. Now, this adult would produce more babies and they would take care of those babies and those babies would grow up to adults and then give birth to more babies. So this way, the species is kept alive. So whenever an adult takes care of a baby, the brain sort of gives them a pat on the back.
Oh, just like how you mentioned what happened in the study?
Yes, exactly. This shows up as a pleasure signal that the scientists see in the experiment. And as a result, we are filled with that feeling of fuzzy cuteness and we go like, oh.
Okay, that sounds really fascinating. Jigyasa, I have one more question. Well, why do we find animals like my kitten cute?
Mm, Utsuka, you're going to be surprised by this answer. So, researchers have actually found that there are certain features like the baby's big eyes, small nose, tiny mouth to be very attractive to us. Apart from that, they've also found that the baby's voices and that peculiar baby smell is also very attractive to adults. So, like, if anything has these features, that is big eyes, small nose, tiny mouth, we'll basically feel that they are cute to us.
Anything? So, any non living thing? Like even cartoons?
Yes, yes, even cartoons.
Oh, okay. So, if I were to draw these features on a potato, would a potato look cute?
Yes, Utsuka, yes. The brain wiring of cuteness is so well set in our brain that it starts sending signals even if something is mildly related to the cute feature.
Whoa, our brains are so fascinating.
They totally are. I agree.
And now it's time to ask a scientist.
So, continuing our discussion about why we find babies cute, we now have Professor Vidita Vaidya, who is a brain scientist at TIFR Mumbai. So, Jignasa, why don't you go ahead and ask the question we had?
So, Dr. Vedder, we ask you the question, why do we find babies cute?
Okay, so it's interesting. It depends on how much the baby requires care. In species which you carry the baby inside the womb, right? So now you already have a substantial body investment in terms of, could be 9 months, could be 3 weeks for a rat or a mouse, a substantial investment. So you have to carry the baby has to go be born, and then it's this fragile little object, and you're invested in ensuring that this fragile object is going to be healthy and happy and live a wonderful big life. So then you better have an object that is going to be adorable to look at, because it means you have to not sleep at night, you have to feed this baby, you have to make sure that everything is okay with this individual, and that has to become your number one priority at that time, right?
Branching out a little bit, you use rats to study these emotions, let's say. But the way rats sort of show their expression is different from us humans. So how do you sort of study these rats, and how do you say, okay, the rat is now happy or angry, right?
Yeah. So the thing is, we can't, it's not like we can ask the rat, how are you feeling? I wish we could. There'd be nothing like being able to say, how was your day? There are proxy measures. And then you can watch their behavior. And you don't do it with one animal, you do it with tens and 20, 30, 40 animals. We have these open fields in which it's like a little arena, it's a box. And we look, how much time does the animal like to sit in the corner, how much time does it spend in the center, when it's in the center, is it chilling, lifting its head, is it moving very fast across the center? We can measure all these things. And the reason we know it's likely to be reflective of their anxiety or fear like state is drugs that treat anxiety in humans actually work in rats to reduce the fear of being in the center. So the same drugs that patients will take when they have severe clinical anxiety will work in these animals, and animals will then show up, then they'll go to the center happily, sit there, explore, right? So it's not the greatest, the best measure would be being able to ask, but because we can't, we use substitute measures that give us at least a decent understanding of the kind of behaviors the animals are exhibiting.
Well, sadly, we have to wrap up things. So, what is your sort of um, message to people who are interested in science, first of all, and people who are interested in career in science?
Okay, so for people who are interested in science, I think the most amazing thing about science is the oh wow moments. And then when you start practicing science, or you go to a class, or those moments start becoming smaller and smaller, or fewer and fewer, and they're further and further apart. Don't lose that. You have it maximum when you're a child. And it definitely goes down with time, but it is the most special part about doing science or being interested in science. If you're doing science, accept that failure is a big part of it, and that shouldn't worry you. In fact, failed experiments are themselves quite kind of fun sometimes, because you actually find something quite, sometimes you find interesting things when you fail. So you come in with a view and you have an idea and you think this is how it's going to work, and then actually it doesn't work like that at all. It works in a completely different way, and you discover that your original idea was absolute rubbish, and that this new idea, that the actual information will inform you, right? So actually failure is one of your best friends in science, so sign on for that.
So, what did we learn today, Utsuka?
It's our brain wiring which has evolved over the years to think that babies are cute so that we as a species can grow and survive and make more of us.
And neuroscientists like Dr. Vaidya, who perform studies on mice, use proxy measures to understand their feelings. She told us that embracing failures can sometimes teach us more than what we expected. But listeners, what we know about the brain's wiring might change as we get more evidence over time.
Who knows? In the future, it might be you who might study human brains and find out something about them that we never knew before.
So,
Stay curious
and ask questions. So that's it for today.
We'd like to thank Dr. Vidita Vaidya for letting us interview her. And if you'd like to know more about her, we've linked her profile in the show notes.
If you have any questions, shoot them away to indiaaskswhy@gmail.com.
Or if you'd directly like to talk to us, join the fun on our Telegram group. Again, link in the show notes.
And for more updates on India Asks Why, follow India Bioscience at India Bioscience on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The link is in the show notes.
Shweta N. Hegde and Ruchi Manglonia are the hosts of the podcast.
Shweta N. Hegde and Ira Zivu edited this episode of the podcast.
India Asks Why is sponsored by India Bioscience's second outreach grant, and we are also grateful to India Bioscience for hosting us.
We meet again in our next episode. Until then, stay tuned and stay curious.